Hi everyone, I'm JT Pilot, and today I'll be making another video. This time I'll be doing a 1.0 mile airport day at my Norfolk International Airport. This is the 7th airport day, and this is for November of 2022. In today's airport day, we have lots of exciting miles. In today's airport day, we have lots of interesting visitors over at Norfolk. We have a lot of special areas that came in recently, so a lot of those will be in today's airport update. So, yes, this airport update is based off of the first Monday in November. So, yes, we have some reduced services over at this airport day today just because we're going into the winter season. So there's a lot of regional aircraft in today's airport day which haven't been featured in a while. So that's really exciting news indeed. And we also have one brand new airline coming to Norfolk as well. And all this I'll go over at the end of this video. So it is a pretty warm day over at Norfolk today. It's about around 80 degrees, which is pretty warm for November. But we were doing airport day today. I do have today off from school, which is pretty exciting as well. I've been enjoying my time off from school. So anyways, we start off with the Terminal Alpha over at Norfolk. So start with the first aircraft here. So this is an interesting visitor here with the Southwest Boeing 737 in the Florida 1 livery. So just envision this beautiful Gemini model with some splits. That would be amazing, right? Hopefully NG models will release that soon. So this is the older Gemini version of blade winglets. I'll still be using, just because of winglets. So yeah, Southwest did retrofit this aircraft with skimmers recently. So yeah, so Southwest Florida 1 will be heading out to Orlando International Airport. So yes, Florida 1 did come in a couple of weeks ago, so one they included it over at today's airport date. So yeah, we don't get Southwest state liveries that often, so I want to include one in today's airport date. Alright, moving on to our next aircraft. Here's the beautiful Southwest Boeing 737 Stranger in the Cane Blue livery, the blended winglets, that fly amazing NG model. This aircraft will be heading out to Baltimore. Baltimore is a pretty popular route over at Norfolk. We get lots of Baltimore flights per day, around 3 to 5 flights per day, which is pretty insane for one Southwest route. So yes, this aircraft did come in a couple of weeks ago as well, so I want to include it before Southwest repaints all their Cane Blue blended 737 Strangers. So this will unfortunately in the near future, this site will be gone. So I just want to use this aircraft in as many airport dates as I can. So yeah, so that's it for this short Southwest section. Now let's move on to the larger American Airlines section. All right, moving on to our next aircraft. So here in the American Boeing 737 MAX 8, this aircraft is parked over at the Terminal Alpha hard stand. So yes, this aircraft will soon be towed over to the terminal for a flight out to Miami. So the Miami service has been fairly inconsistent recently. It's mainly been on MAX 8s, but some days in the week, especially during the middle of the week, this route served on some regional jets like the E-175. So today we were representing the MAX 8. So it's that at least we're still getting the MAX 8, but it's mainly been on regional jets. But the day I'm representing, this MAX 8 did come in today. So it's really exciting to see the MAX 8, and it's really cool visitor. So yes, and this airport day is also based in the morning of Monday, November 7th. So yes, so once again, this aircraft will be heading out over to Miami. Alright, moving on to our next aircraft. Here are the NG models of American Airlines Boeing 737 Stranger in the One World livery. So yes, the One World livery has made a visit recently over at Norfolk. So yeah, this aircraft did come in a couple weeks ago from Dallas-Fort Worth. So this aircraft will be heading on Dallas-Fort Worth. Haven't used this model in a while, so grateful to use this model in today's airport day. What a beautiful engine model. Great engine releases right here. Alright, moving on to our next aircraft. Here, the American Eagle Bombardier CRJ-700. So this aircraft will be this aircraft is operated by PSA Airlines, and this aircraft will be heading out to Philadelphia. That route has been doing fairly well. It's mainly been on CRJs, but there's some ERJs on that route as well. Moving on to our next aircraft here, the American Eagle Embraer ERJ-175, and this aircraft will be heading out to New York John Kennedy. This is a Republic flight. And moving on to our final aircraft of the American Airlines section here, the American Eagle Bombardier CRJ-900. This aircraft will be heading out to Washington National, and that is also another PSA flight. That's it for Terminal Alpha. Let's move on over to Terminal Bravo. Alright, so moving on over to Terminal Bravo. So on the first aircraft here, Breeze Airways and ERJ-195. So Breeze Airways has been doing fairly well in Norfolk. They did axe some routes, including the Los Angeles route, which is pretty unfortunate, but they did start up some new routes, like their Nashville route and their Las Vegas route. So those are going to be great routes. Really excited about the Las Vegas route, especially since no airline has a direct flight there. So they'll be competing with Southwest on the Nashville flight. So yes, but this Breeze Embraer ERJ-195 has just arrived in from West Palm Beach to be making a return flight out to White Plains. So really cool flights there. And those are E-195 routes. So this is a realistic pair of routes. Alright, moving on to our next aircraft. Here, the Delta Connection CRJ-700. This aircraft will be heading out to New York LaGuardia, and this is operated by Endeavor Air. So one of the few Endeavor CRJ-700s. So really cool to see that there. And yes, and Delta Connection has been pretty consistent over at Norfolk. They have gained a new service since one service has ended on Delta mainland. You'll see that with the next aircraft. So speaking of that aircraft, here it is. So here is the Delta Connection Studio 900. This aircraft will be heading up to Detroit, and this is a SkyWest flight. So this model is a SkyWest model. So really, this is a realistic. This model is realistic for once, because I normally use this aircraft for Endeavor flights, but this is a SkyWest model. So that's a legendary Gemini release right there. So hoping for a re-release, because I do want to have another one of these for Norfolk. So yes, but once again, this aircraft will be heading out to Detroit. And the Detroit mainline service on the A319 has unfortunately ended, so really unfortunate. The mainline early morning service, so really unfortunate. Hopefully they'll return next summer. We'll have to see. Alright, so moving on to our next aircraft. Here we Delta Airbus A321 Junior. So it's been a while since this aircraft has visited Norfolk. Yeah, so the Delta mainline service. So I got some good and bad news about this. We're still seeing the 757s to Atlanta, but some of these 757 flights have been replaced by A321 flights or A320 flights. So NG really needs to make a Delta A320, because I definitely buy that, so we can actually finally represent that midday flight that sometimes is on the Delta A320. But today we'll be representing two of Delta's flights. So we'll be representing the early morning flight and the mid morning flight. So yeah, so the first Delta model right here, the Delta A321 Shooter, will be heading out to Atlanta, of course. Yeah, really beautiful engine line here, and grateful to use it. Alright, moving on to our next one. Here's the legendary Flying Pencil, which is the Delta Airlines, but it's 757-200. So really beautiful engine line here. Grateful to use it in Norfolk. Just grateful to use it. I'm just so grateful to have Delta over at Delta. Just grateful to have Delta sending 757s over at Norfolk. So yes, then once again, this aircraft will be heading out to Atlanta. These flights are operated by Gen 2 757s with the updated interiors. But this is a Gen 1 model by NG. Hopefully NG will make the Gen 2 model soon. I'd definitely buy it. Once again, this aircraft will be heading out to Atlanta. Alright, so moving on to United Airlines now. So United Airlines has downgraded some services to some regional services, including this one. So this United Express number here, J175, will be heading out to Denver. This is a SkyWest Airlines flight. So the Denver morning service has been downgraded to a regional service. It was a mainline 747 service. Now it's the E175 service. Pretty unfortunate, but here you go. At least we still have the service. So once again, this United Express number here, J175, will be heading out to Denver. Moving on to our next regional aircraft over at United Express. Here at United Express, Bombardier CRJ-550. Haven't used this model in quite a long time, so grateful to use it today. And this aircraft will be heading out to Newark. And this is a GoJet flight, so really exciting model here. And yeah, that's the main reason I purchased the model way back in 2020 to represent this flight, and we are finally representing this flight. So really grateful to represent this flight, and yeah. Alright, moving on to our next United aircraft. Your eyes do see it correctly. Here at United, but in 747-MAX 8. So yeah, so this aircraft has arrived in from Washington, Dallas, and making a return flight out there. So yeah, a couple of weeks ago, this service was substituted from an A320 to a MAX 8. So really exciting. Really exciting service here. And this was a one-time thing, because that route has been consistently on regional aircraft like the E145 or on United mainline aircraft like the A320. Not the 747-MAX 8 though. So once again, this aircraft will be heading out to Washington, Dallas. And moving on to the final United aircraft here, the beautiful United A319-100. This aircraft will be heading out to Chicago O'Hare. So yes, United has changed a lot over at Norfolk. That inconsistent mainline is fine. Last time we had all 747-NGs. But today we have the MAX 8, the A319, some regional jets. So yes, lots of things have changed over at Norfolk. That's United's inconsistent mainline for you right there. Great example of that. So that's it for the United Airlines section. Let's move on to some more low-cost airlines. Alright, so moving on to our next aircraft, which is the Frontier Airbus A320neo in the pocket the Prairie Dog tail. So this exact aircraft a couple of weeks ago did head out to Denver. So this aircraft will be heading out to Denver. So the Frontier Miami service unfortunately ended, and that route has been removed from the website, which is pretty unfortunate. So Frontier will just only be serving Orlando and Denver from now on. Yeah, so on this Denver flight, sometimes has been substituted on the Frontier A321neo. So really exciting there. Yeah, the aircraft did come in a couple of weeks ago, so NG has got to make that model. I'm definitely going to buy it. It'd be a wonderful model for Jacksonville and Norfolk. So can't wait to get that. I can't wait to represent that flight. So yes, once again, this Frontier A320neo will be heading out to Denver. Alright, moving on to our next model. Here in the Legion Airbus A319-100. This aircraft will be heading out to Orlando, Stanford. So Legion has been fairly consistent at Norfolk. A lot of their seasonal services did end though, but we still got the Legion A319 service nonetheless. Once again, this aircraft will be heading up to Orlando, Stanford. And moving on to our final aircraft, which is the Breeze Airbus A220-300. This aircraft has just arrived in from Las Vegas and will be making a return flight out to Windsor Locks. And those two, yes, and the Las Vegas flight has just started, like I said earlier in this video, and the Windsor Locks flight is now on the A220, which is really exciting to see there. Alright, so moving on to some taxiing aircraft. So this Southwest 747 MAX 8 will be heading out to Chicago Midway. So Southwest has been sending more and more MAX 8s over at Norfolk, which is really exciting to see. And yeah, but once again, this Southwest 747 Max 8 will be heading out to Chicago Midway. That's a pretty typical Max 8 route. The Max 8s have also been set on the Nashville route, the Dallas Love route, and to the Baltimore route. So all this have seen the Max 8, but the Chicago Midway and Baltimore flights are the most common to see the Southwest Max 8 being utilized on. All right, moving on to our next taxi aircraft. So this American A319-100 will be heading to Charlotte Douglas International Airport, really hoping Angel Miles releasing an American A319 for this month's releases. So the day I'm recording this, the hints aren't out yet. So yeah, we'll have to see what comes out. But yes, I would be very inclined to replace this Gemini version for a better NG version. The NG version would just be way better, but this Gemini model is just okay. So once again, this aircraft will be heading out to Charlotte Douglas. So that route has seen all sorts of American aircraft from the Series 700 all the way to the A321, and yeah, the A320, A319, and some recent Stranger have all been used on that route as well. So very busy route for American Airlines over at Norfolk, and they see it's about 5 times daily for the Charlotte route. So pretty consistent route there for American Airlines. Pretty popular route as well. So it is a former U.S. Airways route as well. Once again, this aircraft will be heading out to Charlotte Douglas. All right, moving on to our next aircraft. This Breeze Embraer ERG-185 is just riding from Tampa and making a return flight out to West Palm Beach. All right, moving on to our next aircraft. This Southwest 747 in the Harley Wisconsin Wings will be heading out to Nashville. All right, moving on to our next aircraft here, American Eagle Embraer ERG-175. This aircraft is operated by Envoy Air, and this aircraft will be heading out to Chicago O'Hare, and this aircraft is number 2 for takeoff. And moving on to our final aircraft, and this aircraft is number 1 for takeoff on the runway, which is this UPS Boeing 757-200, and this aircraft will be heading out to Richmond. And alright, folks, as this concludes today's airport day. This is the 7th Norfolk International Mile Airport Day, and this was for November of 2022. And this is also the final Norfolk Airport Day for the year of 2022, which is insane to say. But the next update will be in January of 2023, and there will be some new miles in that update, so that'll be a great update. That'll be coming up very soon. So yes, Norfolk, it's been a prospering mile airport, and yeah, so, prospering airport in real life as well, so. Yes, so we'll be getting a new airline to Norfolk, which is Spirit Airlines, and it'll be flying to Orlando and Fort Lauderdale. Not sure about the aircraft yet. Likely it'll be some A319, A320, and A320neo flights, if I had to guess. It's almost guaranteed they will be, but you never know. We could get the 321 as well. So, yeah, so where they'll park, I'm not too sure. I'm thinking Terminal Alpha, because Norfolk has done some work over this region of Terminal Alpha, so we'll have to see. Because it's only American and Southwest that serve this section. There's also an international gate, so you never know. But yes, or they could join Terminal Bravo with all the other airlines. You never know. They could share some more gates like Allegiant, Frontier, and Breeze have been doing. So we'll have to see. Terminal Bravo seems to be the spot for the new airlines. So yes, but my guess is Terminal Alpha. Yeah, my guess is Terminal Alpha. So they'll fit in pretty well over there. So. And yeah, especially if the whole merger thing works out and they become part of JetBlue, because JetBlue does have a Northeast alliance with American, so yes, it would kind of benefit Spirit if they went over to Terminal Alpha, and in the future we'll get JetBlue, which is also exciting. So yeah, Spirit's just a pretty mediocre airline, but if they merge with JetBlue, we'll be getting JetBlue in Norfolk, which is really exciting. I cannot wait for them to start serving Norfolk, so that'd be really exciting. So yes. Nothing else has really changed over in Norfolk besides the special areas coming in. The new, I believe the new Tennessee one did come in Norfolk a couple times, and Illinois one, waiting for those NG models to arrive, so those would be really great. The NG Tennessee one has been delayed, which is pretty unfortunate. Illinois one hasn't been released yet. I want the baby in November, so I'll definitely pre-order it, so. Yes, and the Frontier for 21 Neo did come in Norfolk, like I said earlier, and hopefully NG models release that model soon, so. So Norfolk's been pretty consistent over the last couple months. Besides occasional special areas and some new routes, nothing has really changed. And yes, we're just going into the slower winter season. I can't wait to see what next summer holds for Norfolk, especially with maybe some new breeze routes and some Spirit routes. You never know. So, and yeah. So I'm providing you guys a brief channel update. So I'd like to welcome everybody to November. So this month will be a pretty quiet month for my YouTube channel. We'll be having our next massive unboxing coming up soon. We'll be having another Jacksonville Fictional Airport Day and the NG Wishlist Day all coming very soon. So, yes, and that is it for the channel update. So, I'm JT Pilot. I'd like to thank y'all so much for watching this video, and have a wonderful day and have a wonderful weekend. Bye.